Hey there crafter, welcome to my channel Craft is Autonomous. It's Amanda here, and today I have another free crochet pattern for you. So last year on my blog I typed up a pattern for this double crochet snowman that I made last year, super cute. And so this year I thought, hey, you know what, I should make a video tutorial on this as well. This snowman works up pretty quickly because it's worked mostly in double crochet stitches. Now if you're familiar with Amigurumi, you might be thinking, wait, aren't you going to see the stuffing through that? Well, I've got a little hack. Basically we're going to stuff it with white plastic grocery store bags. So because we do double crochet stitches, it works up faster, and even though you can see through the stitches, you'll only see the white grocery store bag, so you won't really notice that it's stuffing you're seeing through the stitches. For this project, you're going to need 4 different colors. You will first of all need a white. All my yarns that I'm using are I Love This yarn from Hobby Lobby. This one here is just the white color, white. There's different like shades of white that they make. So this is what I'm using for the body. You will want some black yarn for things like buttons, and then you'll want 2 accent colors. So in the pictures on the blog, I used red and green. I actually don't know what colors I have on hand to use today, so we'll find out. Anyways, in this first part, I'm gonna show you how to crochet the body, and then I'll have a part 2 where I show how to add the arms and the buttons and the accessories and things like that. As far as hook size, I'm using a size H 5mm crochet hook. Alright, this project's worked in the round, so we're going to start with either a slip knot in chain 3 or you can do the magic ring. I really struggle with the magic ring, so I'm just going to put a slip knot on my hook and then chain 1, chain 2, chain 3, and then I'm going to insert my hook in that first chain and slip stitch to join. So I've created a little ring there, and now it's time to start working some double crochet stitches into the ring. For round 1, we're going to chain 3 and then work 12 double crochet stitches into the ring. So that's 3 chains, and then I'm just going to find the center of my ring here and work my first double crochet stitch, insert into the center of that little loop I made from the chain 3s, and work a second double crochet stitch. I'm going to keep going until I have a total of 12 double crochet stitches, and that chain 3 from the beginning of the round does not count as a stitch. So just count your double crochets, and you want to have 12 of them. And as you can see, I'm working over my tail end, and that's because it'll help me just cinch it up, and then I don't have to weave in as many ends when I'm done. So double crochet 11. And lastly 12. And you may find that stitch counters are helpful when working on this pattern, so you can keep track. I'm going to grab one out because if I'm going to mess up, it'll be when I'm working on camera. So I've gotten 12 around, and then I'm going to find my chain 3 at the start of the round, and I'm going to insert my hook into the top and work a slip stitch to join the round together. So I have a nice little circle. Round 2, we're going to start by chaining 3. Again, this does not count as a stitch. And then in our 12 double crochet from the first round, we're going to work 2 double crochet into both loops of those stitches. So I'm going to put my stitch counter in this first one here. That's 1, and then a second one in that same spot. Go to my next stitch and work 1 double crochet, and then a second double crochet. And I'm going to keep doing this all the way around. So this round will work a total of 24 double crochet, working 2 in each of the 12 stitches from the beginning of our round. So I've double crocheted 24 stitches around, and I'm doing this off camera because it'd be really boring to watch, but I am double checking and counting my stitches at the end of each row just to make sure that I am on track. So then like we joined the first row, I'm going to find the top of that chain 3 from the start of my round. I'm going to insert in the top there, yarn over, and slip stitch that together to join. Round 3, we're going to chain 3. Again, this does not count as a stitch. And then we're going to do a repeating pattern where in the first stitch we work 2 double crochet. So 1, and then 2, both in that same first stitch. And let me move my stitch counter up here. So 1, 2 in the first stitch. And then in the second stitch, just work 1 double crochet. And repeat that all the way around. So work 2 double crochet into a stitch. So this is 1 and 2. And then in the next stitch, just work 1. And we're going to repeat this around, working in every stitch, and we'll end up with a total of 36 double crochets. So that's 1, 2, and then just 1 double crochet in the next stitch. So round 3, I've worked a total of 36 double crochet stitches. I'm going to find the starting chain from the beginning of the round, insert my hook in that topmost chain, and slip stitch to join. So now for round 4, we're going to chain 3. Again, does not count as a stitch. So 1, 2, 3. And this time we're having another repeating pattern. So in our first stitch, we're going to work 2 double crochet. So 1, and then 2, both in that same first stitch. Again, working double crochet, and I'm going to move my stitch counter to the new row. And then in each of the next 2 stitches, I'm just going to work 1 double crochet. So 1 double crochet here in this third stitch, or in the second stitch rather, and then 1 double crochet here in this third stitch. And we're going to repeat it. Work 2 double crochet in the next stitch, 1 and 2. Then in the next stitch, work 1 double crochet, and in the next stitch, 1 double crochet. So I'm going to keep repeating this pattern of 2, 1, 1 double crochet all the way around until I have 48 double crochet stitches. So I've worked 48 stitches around from round number 4, and again we're going to slip stitch to join by slip stitching in the top of that chain 3 from the beginning of the round. Now as a quick note, I work this where the side facing me right now is the inside of the snowman. So because this is the inside, round 5 is going to be worked in just the front loops. However, if you want this to be the outside, then on round 5 you're going to work in just the back loops. If you don't really care, just follow what I'm doing for round 5. We're going to start by chaining 3, 1, 2, 3. And I'm just going to work double crochet evenly around, 1 double crochet in each of the 48 stitches from the previous row, but I'm going to work in just the front loop. So let me get my stitch marker out of the way so it's a little easier to see. So this is my first stitch. If I were working through both loops, I'd go through like that. But since I'm working through just the front loop, I'm going to go under just the front loop and come out, kind of split the V in the middle, and then work a double crochet stitch. And then just repeat that all the way around. So go to my next stitch, just work under the front loop, work a double crochet in the front loop only on my next stitch, and do this with all 48 stitches. That's going to leave the back loops kind of creating a nice little edge, a nice little border at the base of our snowman. So I'm going to finish working this round, and I'm going to work 1 double crochet in every stitch in just the front loop only until I have a total of 48 double crochet stitches. So round 5, I worked my 48 double crochet stitches in the front loop only. It creates this nice kind of little edge, kind of corner almost, if you will, and surprise, surprise, to join the row, we're going to slip stitch in the top of our chain 3. Also, I'll show you this. When I do these joins in the chain 3, I like to, instead of catching just this one loop here, I like to also catch that other little loop that's kind of right behind it. So I'm kind of going underneath 2 little loops there, because I think it just creates a nicer join. And see how it's a little smoother? Whereas if I go through just the one, it kind of stretches out and leaves a little more gapping. So that's just a little tip there. And I probably should have told you that sooner versus now on round 5, but that's just a little tip there for when you join into the chain 3. Now rows 6 through 13 are all worked the exact same way, and we are going to chain 3 and then 48 double crochet around, slip stitch to join. So chain 1, 2, 3, and in each stitch, this time we're working through both loops. If I can work around my stitch counter there, so work a double crochet in the first one, move up my stitch counter, and then in all 47 remaining stitches, I'm going to work 1 double crochet in each of those. And I will do the same exact process for rounds 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. Alright, so we worked rounds 6 through 13 where we just worked 48 double crochet around evenly. So for round 14, we're going to start by chaining 3. And then in our first 3 stitches, we're going to just work a single double crochet. So work a double crochet in the first stitch, a double crochet in the second stitch, a double crochet in the third stitch, and I'm going to move my stitch marker. And then we're going to double crochet 2 together. If you're not familiar with how to do that, you're going to yarn over, insert in the first stitch, yarn over, and pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, then yarn over, insert into the second stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 3. So we have 2 separate bases to the stitch, but then the top they're connected. And we're going to repeat this pattern all the way around. We're going to work 3 double crochet and then double crochet 2 together, or you could call it a double crochet decrease, same kind of thing. We're going to repeat that 9 times, and then we're going to need to work an additional 3 double crochet. So here's the pattern. Work a double crochet, a second one, and then a third one, and then double crochet 2 together. So yarn over, insert in the first stitch and pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, insert in the second stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 3. So we're going to repeat that around until we have 3 stitches left. Alright, so we've worked that pattern of 3 double crochet and then double crochet 2 together all the way around. We have 3 stitches left, and we're just going to work a double crochet in each of those remaining stitches. And then to join, we're going to slip stitch in the top of our chain 3 from the beginning of the round. Row 15, we're going to have some more decreasing. We're going to start by chaining 3. And then our repeating pattern this time is going to be a double crochet and then double crochet 2 together. And my stitch marker, so that's my double crochet. And then the next 2 stitches, we're going to double crochet 2 together just like we did the previous row. So you insert, pull up a loop, pull through 2, do that in both stitches, and then pull through 3. So we're going to go double crochet 2 together, double crochet, and then double crochet 2 together. We're going to keep repeating this all the way around. And this repeats 13 times. So I've just double crocheted the last 2 stitches together, and it's time to join in the top of our turning chain with a slip stitch. And that finishes round 15. For round 16, we're going to start again by chaining 3. And then in all the stitches all the way around, we're going to double crochet 2 together. We're going to do that yarn over, insert into your first stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, insert into your second stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, and then to finish it, yarn over, pull through 3. So we're going to work this all the way around, and we'll work a total of 16 of these. And then once we get to the end, we'll slip stitch in the chain 3 at the start of the round to join, and then we'll move on to row 17. Alright, so I've just worked my 13 double crochet 2 together, so I'm going to go to the top of the chain 3 from the start of round 16. And slip stitch to join. Now it's time to work round 17. So this one the pattern doesn't quite repeat, so we're going to start in our first stitch and work 1 double crochet. And then in our next stitch we're going to work 2 double crochet. So 1 and then 2 in that same spot. And then we're going to work 1 double crochet in each of the next 3 stitches. So 1, 2, and then 3. And then in our next stitch, we're going to work 2 double crochet. So 1 and 2 right in that same spot there. Then work another 3 double crochet. So just 1 in each stitch. So 1, and then 1 in the next stitch for 2, and then 1 in the next stitch for 3. And then in the following stitch, we're going to work 2 double crochet in that same stitch. So 1, and then 2. And then at this point, we should have 3 stitches left, so we're just going to work 1 double crochet in each of those stitches. So 1, and then 2, and then 3 in the last stitch. And then to finish the round, we're going to find our chain 3 from the start of the round, insert in that top one, and slip stitch to join. This brings us to round 18. We're going to start by chaining 3, and then in every stitch from the previous row we're going to work 2 double crochet. So So in my first spot here, I'm going to work 2 double crochet in the same stitch, 1 and then 2, 2 in the next stitch, 1, 2, 2 in the next stitch, and we're just going to keep working 2 double crochet in every stitch from the round, and when we're done we'll have a total of 32 double crochet. To finish round 18, I'm going to work a slip stitch in the top of my chain 3 from the beginning of the round. So it's a little kind of slouchy right now because you don't have it stuffed, but hopefully you kind of see a little snowman starting to take shape. So we've kind of worked the body, and now we're going to work the head of the snowman. So rows 19 through 21 are worked the exact same way, and we're going to start by chaining 3, and then work 1 double crochet in every stitch around. So that's going to be 32 double crochet, and we're just going to work 1 stitch in every stitch from the previous round. So we'll do this for round 19, round 20, and round 21. And of course, to finish off each round, you're going to slip stitch in the chain 3 space from the starting, the same way we've been joining this whole time with this project. So I'm going to work rounds 19, 20, and 21 all in this way, and then I'll meet you back for round 22. Alright, so I've crocheted rounds 19, 20, and 21, and then I slip stitched in the top of my chain 3 to join. Now we only have 3 rounds left to this project, so now is a really good place to pause and stuff. So as I mentioned, we're stuffing with plastic bags, and we stuff with the plastic bags because as you can see, we can see through the double crochet stitching, but since we're stuffing with white plastic bags, it's okay if you see through to the stuffing, and the bags are big enough that they won't come out of the holes like stuffing might. So I'm just going to stretch this big so that it doesn't come undone. So I've got some like Hobby Lobby bags, Target bags, Walmart bags. Basically you want bags that have at least one white surface. So this one, oh, this is a Staples bag. Since it only has print on one side, I'm going to kind of just fold it so the print is kind of folded inside. So you have mostly white on the outside. And then stuff it into here. And if you look through, if you were to pay really careful attention, you might be like, maybe I see writing, but really it's most likely just shadows, and you're really not going to notice it once we get this stuffed all the way. You can also inside out bags to see how it's less vivid once we inside out it. I'm just going to kind of wrap the colorful parts up inside the white of the bag and then stuff it into our snowman. And you can stuff it as much or as little as you want. The bags can make it a little bit kind of lumpy. If you just kind of squish it and squeeze it, you can get it to shape really nicely. So then just do a quick check and make sure that there's not any peeking out. So there's a little bit of red peeking out from a bag right there, but I'm going to put a scarf on this guy, so it's not going to matter. Otherwise, you can just, you know, squish that more to the inside, and boom, now you don't see it. So technically you see the stuffing, but you really don't notice it, which makes this super awesome because single crochet takes me forever, so it's really nice to be able to do a double crochet stitch. It goes a lot faster. We'll work another row or 2 before we stuff the head, but we want to at least get the body stuffed now. So now it's time to work row 22. With this row, we're going to start by chaining 3, and then all the way around we're going to double crochet 2 together. And this is actually the same process for the next 3 rows, just the only thing that changes is how many double crochet 2 togethers we do, because each time there's going to be less stitches. So for row 22, we're going to do a total of 16 of these double crochet 2 together. For row 23, we'll have 8 of them, and then for row 24, we will have 4 double crochet 2 together. All the way around, I'm going to double crochet 2 together, and then I'll slip stitch in the top of my chain 3 to join. Alright, so I finished crocheting around round 22. We're going to slip stitch to join. And at this point, I'm going to pause and stuff the head. And as a side note, I really like stuffing with the bags because they tend to kind of fluff up really well, so you don't need to use a ton of them. Alright, now on to round 23. We're going to work it pretty much the same as we did round 22, where we start by chaining 3. And then in all our stitches, we're going to work a double crochet 2 together. Just make sure that you're keeping the stuffing down inside of your project. That's my first one, and we're going to have a total of 8 of these going around. My next 2 stitches, double crochet 2 together. And keep working this all the way around. Alright, so I've worked this all the way around, doing those 2 double crochet together. And I'm kind of pulling this up and out. So I'm kind of still working on the inside here. And we're going to slip stitch on the top of the chain 3 to join our round. Alright, and then for our final row, we're going to chain 3. Pop my stitch marker out. And we're going to do 4 double crochet 2 together. So my first 2 stitches, I'm going to work a double crochet 2 together. And again, I'm still kind of working like on the inside with how I'm inserting my hook. So I'm kind of coming from the inside and then back as I'm working. So that was 1. And this is 2. And then 3. 4. Oh, no, that's still 3. And then our 4th one is the last 2 stitches here. So that's 4 double crochet 2 together. If you can, kind of turn your work, and it helps if you kind of pull it upward. But find that chain 3 from the start. And we're going to slip stitch to that to join. And then we want to fasten off. So I'm going to yarn over and pull through, but I'm going to leave myself a really long tail because we're going to sew that top closed a little bit more. This nice long tail, and we'll cut that right there. Right now it looks a little goofy because I was kind of pulling it up to show where I was actually working those stitches. But basically what I'm going to do with this long tail is get out a tapestry needle, and we're going to sew the head closed. Sewing it closed doesn't have to be anything fancy. If I kind of squish this down, you kind of see that center hole right there. I'm basically just going to go through the tops of the stitches, do a nice little whip stitch along there, so I can kind of cinch this up basically. And then in part 2 of this, I'm going to show you how to make a hat for this guy so it doesn't have to look pretty. This whole project is basically like a big amigurumi hack because it's like, how can we take amigurumi and make it as easy as possible? So double crochet stitches, stuffing it with plastic bags, and the messy spots we're just going to hide with accessories. I'm just going to tie it off here, make a little knot. And then I'm going to run this end just down through the snowman, got somewhere down here just to hide that tail, and then I'll cut that little piece there. But this is part 1 of the double crochet snowman. We have made the snowman, basically the body and the head. We've got it stuffed. Make sure to come back for part 2. I will show you how to add all the accessories. So we're going to add some arms, we're going to add some buttons, we'll make a hat and a scarf, make it super cute. But I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial so far. If you want to be notified when I post part 2, make sure that you subscribe and click the bell notification so you'll get notified when I post that video. So I will see you in part 2. Happy crafting!